Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you another reading vlog. Hi guys, it is 5:31 p.m. on Monday the 25th of March. Welcome to a new reading vlog, the final reading vlog for March. We've entered the final week of March. I feel like because I haven't been filming my normal videos, I also have been really slack about updating my spreadsheet and that, so I really don't even have a clear idea of how many books I've read this month. I have no idea, so I don't even know. It feels like I haven't read very much this month, but that could be completely incorrect. I just honestly don't even really know. Anyway, so I just got home from work. I have knitting group tonight, so not sure how much I'll get read tonight, probably not too much more, but last night I finished, so I was reading this at the end of the last vlog, and I finished this last night. This is Babysitters on Board by Anne M. Martin, so I read this whole thing yesterday. This is the first super special in the Babysitters Club series and follows the babysitters as they go on a cruise, followed by a holiday at Disney, is it World? Yeah, Disney World. And the super specials are different from the normal books in that they're a little bit longer. This one is just over 200 pages, and that they don't just follow one babysitter's perspective. They jump around to all of the different babysitters. And I also can't recall if this is usual for all the super specials or if it was just because this is the first one and they were trying things out. There is also a couple of chapters in here from Karen's perspective, who is Christy's younger stepsister, and Byron, who's like one of the Pike children, and Mallory, who is a babysitter later, but at this point when this was published, she wasn't a babysitter yet. So I'm not sure whether they do that in the later books, whether you get other random perspectives or if it's just the babysitters, because I don't remember that happening, but maybe it did in all of them and I just can't remember. Also, I had to purchase this book from, if you've been watching my channel, you probably know because I talked about it in a haul and all of that, but I had to purchase this. For some reason, this book was not available at my library like all of the others have been. So in order to read this, I had to purchase a copy, and it was a whole debacle because I purchased a copy off eBay, paid way more than I wanted to, and then it was a really long time later and the book, I'd never received it, and so I contacted the seller and said, you know, what's going on, and then without even contacting me or any kind of response at all, they just refunded my money. So it was great to get a refund, but communication would be great. And then I ended up going on to Thrift Books and purchasing this copy off Thrift Books, and then literally as soon as I started reading this and I opened the cover, the binding, I'll see if I can show you guys, completely started to come unglued. So you can see there that the whole thing is starting to come unglued, but there's a whole portion of the book that literally just fell out. So it was also really poor quality. But anyway, so I enjoyed this. This is nothing special. There's not a whole lot going on, but I did enjoy it for the most part. I'm giving this a 3.5. God, now this part of the book's going to fall out. I did give this 3.5 stars. So that was last night, which was technically before this vlog even started. And then today at work, so I started a new audiobook today. One of my audiobooks came in over the weekend. You guys, my library has been knocking it out of the park. It's about once a week. It seems they get in, there'll be 3 or 4 new pages of books. So I've mentioned before that I now have, my library has a limit of 10 books that you can place on hold. I've got 10 on hold, and then I've been tagging books with a tag, which is basically a list of books that I'm going to place on hold. Once a hold comes in, I go to the tag list and then place another one on hold. And on my tag list right now, let me see if I can go to it so I can tell you guys how many's on there, because it's ridiculous. There are 36 plus the 10 on hold. So I've got 46 books from my library right now that I want to read, listen to at some point, which is awesome. It's great that they've got so many on there. But none of it, they just take forever to come in. Even though I've got all of those, this audiobook, and my library does also have on the app, the Libby app, it shows you in the hold section. Oh, I've got a couple that are available soon now, so that's good. So hopefully something else will come in later this week. Anyway, this has gone into a tangent. So I also apologize if you can hear the cat in the litter. She's super loud, but she's using the litter, which is great because we had some incidents recently. So I was listening on audio to An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. So this is, I guess you would just describe it as literary fiction. It is, I have in my head that this is Own Voices, but I'm just going to confirm that. Give me one second. This, I believe the author, yeah, it is. So this is an Own Voices novel following some African American characters. Basically, we're following a couple. The female character's name is Celestial, and the male character's name is Roy. They are married, and all the synopsis really tells you, so I'm not going to tell you any more than the synopsis gives away, is that this couple is married. They've been married for about a year and a half when, you know, it's very still, like, new in their, like, married lives, when an event happens, this big thing happens that completely changes the course of their lives and of their marriage. And we're just basically then following what goes on with them and their relationship. So it's very, very character focused, obviously, which I don't typically mind. So how far all the way through am I? I'm 57% of the way through. So over halfway, so I'll be able to finish that one off tomorrow. So it's got a lot of commentary in there on kind of like social justice type of topics, which I've enjoyed that commentary. The commentary on it has been quite interesting. But I'm not that connected to either character. I like that the characters are flawed. They're not perfect characters. Because I think it would have been very easy due to the situation that they are in, which I won't go into because, like I said, I guess it happens pretty early on in the book, so I wouldn't have thought it was a spoiler, but it's not in the synopsis, so I'm not going to talk about it. But it's one of those things where I think it would have been very easy for the author to make the characters these really, like, nice, just such really, really nice people who've been affected by this really awful thing. And that is true, but they're not, like, really cool. They're still flawed characters who, you know, have done some things that aren't the greatest, but doesn't necessarily mean that this totally awful thing should have happened to them, type of thing. So, I don't know. I'll be interested. Like I say, I'm not really connected to it in the way that I would like to be, but I do think it's interesting and it's a pretty good book, like, for the most part. So yeah, 57% of the way through that. And then the book that I picked up after the Babysitter's Club that I was reading on my commute and my lunch break and such is Cherry Pie by Lee Redhead. This is the third book in the Simone Kirsch series. So I'm reading this one on my phone. So my library didn't have a physical copy of this. They only had an ebook copy. And so I'm just reading it on the Libby app. I decided I'll just quickly read it and get it out of the way because they are really quick, easy reads. So I am currently on that book. Let me tell you how far through I am. I'm 22% of the way through that one. So this is a series that follows Simone Kirsch, who is a private detective. So she's a stripper / private detective. And it just basically, each book kind of follows different, like, case / shenanigans that she gets into. It's an Australian author. It's set in Australia, Australian characters. It feels very Australian, which is totally fine for me because I'm Australian. I think there's a lot in this that I don't think would translate well, if read by people who aren't Australian. But so I thought that to myself, and then I was thinking about this recently, and I thought, does it need to be, though? Like, American authors, I'm sure, like, just in and of itself being in the American publishing industry, I think comes with a certain amount of privilege in that I don't think the American authors have to consider, oh, if I, like, use this particular phrase, which is just common within, like, American culture and, like, just different foods and things that, like, aren't necessarily, like, international. They don't have to worry about, like, oh, my reader's going to understand what this is. Whereas I think maybe with, like, an Australian author, if you want this to be connected with kind of outside of the Australian public, then maybe you do have to consider that, because I do think there are some things in there, just some of the language and just things that, like I say, I have no trouble understanding because I'm from here, but that I think, like, American and, like, UK readers would maybe read some parts of it and go, what the heck, what does that even mean? Type of situation. Like, even just for example, in the chapter that I just read, there was a character who got some hot chips, and I was like, I don't know if just using that phrase, if Americans would even know what that is. Hot chips, I think in America you guys would just call it fries. So, yeah. that's just a little interesting thought that I had. Anyway, 22% of the way through that. These books are very quick, very easy to read. Hopefully, with even just my bedtime reading, I can get to like, I'll get to at least a third of the way through tonight, I think, which is good. I'll be happy with that. Trying to think what else, if I've got anything else to report. I don't think I do, so that's really it, I think, for this clip. I will check in with you guys when I get home from work tomorrow. Hopefully by the time I talk to you guys tomorrow, I may be like halfway through Cherry Pie, and, well, I should be at least halfway through Cherry Pie, in theory. And I was going to show you this for some reason, but we already talked about that. And hopefully I will have finished An American Marriage and can give you guys my final thoughts on that. But I will talk to you guys then. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is... my phone's upside down. It is 5:14 p.m. on Tuesday, the 26th of March. I just got home from work. I left work a little bit early today, which was great. So, not a lot to report. I've got boxing tonight. Still hoping to get some reading done, although the main thing I'm focusing on tonight, because I still haven't done anything, is edit the last vlog. Finish editing the last vlog. That's the main goal when I get home tonight, but hopefully I can still get some reading done. So, onto the reading update. So I finished the audiobook today, as predicted, for An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. So pretty much just everything that I said yesterday stands. I thought that this book raised some really interesting moral questions. It really does ponder some pretty deep and like interesting things. But overall, I didn't feel connected to the story at all. So I think normally I would, with my kind of level of connection and like enjoyment kind of this story, it would probably be like a 3-star. But I did find all of the questions and stuff that it raised really interesting. So I'm going to give it, I feel like I look really weird today. I'm going to give it a 3.5 star. I said there was a lot. It's definitely worth reading. Like, I would recommend it. It did, like I said, raise a lot of really interesting questions and really did get me thinking. But just overall, like I said, I didn't connect to the story, so I didn't, like, super enjoy, like, my reading experience of it necessarily. I didn't hate it by any means or, like, dislike or not enjoy. But it was just kind of a meh overall experience, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I'm going to give that a 3.5 star. I then have been continuing on with reading Cherry Pie by Lee Redhead. So I'm currently... 66%, so exactly 2/3 of the way through, so I'm pretty happy with that. I've got a bit of time before I have to leave. I don't have to leave for boxing for like half an hour, so I might even get a couple of chapters read before I go to boxing, and then hopefully once I get home, editing the second half of the previous vlog, well, 2 previous vlogs now, it was like 2 vlogs ago. If I get that finished, hopefully, because it's already half edited, it won't take me too long, and I can still get some reading done tonight. And I kind of want to finish it tonight, but I think that might be being overly ambitious, but hopefully I can get really close to finishing it so that even like maybe on my lunch break tomorrow I can start a new book. So yeah, I think that is really it for this clip. Not a whole lot to report. Finished one book, making good progress on another. I did another audiobook has come off hold, so I will be listening to starting another audiobook tomorrow, so I'll be able to talk to you guys about that as well. Also, in addition to finishing that audiobook, I managed to listen to a podcast episode today, so I'm just feeling very accomplished, which is great. So yeah, that's really it, and I will talk to you guys when I get home from work tomorrow. Bye guys. Hi guys, it is 5:53 p.m. on Wednesday, the 27th of March. I need to film this really quickly. My bus was really late today, and I only got home like just a little while ago and had just enough time to feed the cat, scoop her litter, and I've quickly got changed. I still need to put my shoes on and throw my hair up, but I need to go to boxing and I need to leave in like a few minutes. But I wanted to quickly film this update because I didn't want to have to film it when I get home because we know how disgusting I look after boxing. So, I also don't have my book with me, so sorry, but last night I finished Cherry Pie by Lee Redhead. I ended up finishing it, which was great, but I ended up enjoying this one just a touch more than I think the other two, although it definitely has problems. There's a prologue at the beginning, and then the prologue happens, which is like an event later in the book, and then when you get to chapter 1, it's like 2 days earlier, and you follow the events leading up to it, except it's not 2 days. It's very clearly like at least a week, if not longer than that. And then the part that's mentioned in the prologue didn't quite tie in correctly, so that kind of annoyed me. The book are still not great, problematic in some ways, but I do think that I enjoyed this one a little bit more than I did, although I'm very concerned where we ended off with some moral decisions that are being made at the end of it. And there's one book left which I have requested from my library, so hopefully I'll have that soon. We'll be able to finish out that series, but I ended up giving that one 2.75 stars, just a touch higher than the 2.5 stars I gave to books 1 and 2. So finished that last night. Started a new audiobook today. I'm listening to The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. This is the book that the movie The Kissing Booth, which was a big Netflix phenomena, was based on. I've seen the movie. I enjoyed it. This is just a kind of cheesy teen romance between a girl and her best friend's older brother. Her best friend, who's a guy's older brother, which is a trope that I really love. I really love relationships between a best friend's brother or a brother's best friend. Any kind of that kind of dynamic in books, or movies, I really enjoy. It's very cheesy. It's definitely problematic, quote unquote, in some ways. The male character is very alpha and domineering in not a great way sometimes. And it's very cheesy and not necessarily the best written at all times, but I am really enjoying it. I got, I think, 74% of the way through that today, so I'll definitely be finishing that tomorrow, but I am genuinely enjoying it. Like, it's just a very enjoyable kind of trash read. So that's the audiobook I started today. And then the physical book that I'm reading at the moment, which I don't have, I left in my backpack, is The Sun Is Also a Star by Jandy Nelson. I started this today and read it on my commute and on my lunch break, and I'm about 130-ish pages of the way through. This is a YA contemporary that follows... Oh, shit, my mom's calling me. Ugh, I'll call her back in a second. It'll be about boxing. So it's a YA contemporary between two characters who are twins. There's a boy and a girl, and we follow the boy twin Noah when they're 13 and the girl twin Jude when they're 16, and during this gap there's an estrangement that has happened between them, and I think we're basically following that story and trying to find out what's happened and dealing with each character in their kind of, you know, what's going on with them. And I am really enjoying it so far for the most part, so looking forward to seeing where that's headed. I'm probably about a quarter-ish of the way through, so just kind of really cracking the surface on that one. Hoping to get some reading done tonight when I get home from boxing, but I do need to want to get as much edited. I finished editing the previous vlog last night, so I can upload that tonight, but I want to get started on editing the previous vlog tonight because I really am getting close to the end of the month, and I still have to post this vlog as well before the end of the month, so it's all getting really crazy. Anyway, I've got to go because I am running late for boxing, and I will talk to you guys with more updates when I get home from work tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is 5:34 p.m. on Thursday, the 28th of March. Oh, I look naked. I am wearing a top. So I was off work today. I've had a terrible headache. I have boxing tonight, which really I don't really want to go to, but as I've mentioned before, I'm partnered with my mom. And also I slept for most of the day. Sorry, I just had cat hair in my mouth. I slept for most of the day, and then by the time I got up, I felt too bad to cancel. Like, it was too late in the day, I felt like, to cancel without making me feel really awful. I am planning to go back to work tomorrow, but every time I say that, I end up having a really bad turn in the night and then not making it to work the following day. So I'm going to see how I go. I'm hoping that boxing will be good for me and will, like, energize me and, like, help me feel a bit better. I don't feel as bad now as I did, and like I said, I spent most of the day today asleep for the most part, just really not feeling like my best self. I also have a gigantic pimple on my chin, which never makes me feel good. So, reading update, I didn't obviously end up finishing my audiobook today because I wasn't at work, so that's one thing that is a motivator to go back to work tomorrow, so I can finish my audiobook before the weekend. So we'll see. I don't have any sick leave. I've been off so much this past, like, 12 months. I just feel like my headaches have been really bad this past 12 months. I go through kind of stages, and I'm in a very, like, headachy, migraine-y stage. It also doesn't help, I think, that I've been quite stressed lately. Both kind of personally and professionally, I've definitely been stressed about work stuff. And then I do have some kind of like personal stresses, just kind of stuff that I've mentioned already on here. Like my uncle is very unwell at the moment, and well, I'm not, I mean, obviously that's awful and I'm very sad about that, but I'm also more sad for my mum than I am for myself, because I know that it's something that emotionally affects my mum a lot. She's already lost a sister to cancer, and so that's a really hard thing, is seeing how much it's upsetting her. I find that very upsetting. So, more so than anything else. So, yeah. Got that going on. That's been kind of a stressor. And then obviously we've had a lot of family things going on. Not that this is like that big of a deal in the larger scheme of things, but just like with my sister having had a car accident, she still doesn't have a car, and so we're having to do a lot of car swaps, and there's just like a lot going on at the moment. I don't know if I've mentioned on here, yeah, I do have 10 days off coming up over the Easter period. We have obviously the Easter Monday and Good Friday are holidays here in Australia, and then Easter falls this year on the same week as Anzac Day, which is an Australian holiday, and that falls on the Thursday. So we already had a holiday on the Monday, and then we have a holiday on the Thursday. So I've taken the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday of that week off as well, which gives me a solid 10 days off work. And then also turns out that my sister is now traveling interstate during that period, so my sister and the kids won't be here. I think my parents are going away from Adelaide for a couple of days during that period. So I'm going to have like no one here for at least a few days of that. So I won't have a whole lot going on. So hopefully I can really solidly relax and decompress in that time. Anyway, getting back to the reading update. So I didn't finish my audiobook today. Hopefully, I said I'll get that finished tomorrow. I have still been reading I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. So I read to about page 180 last night, and then I honestly haven't got as much read today, being at home sleeping all day, as I would have if I'd gone to work, because I read like 130 pages of this at work yesterday, like with commuting and my lunch break, and I'm currently on page 277, so I've read just under 100 pages, which honestly isn't too bad, considering that I have spent the majority of today sleeping in a like drug-infused, legal drug-infused haze. So, yeah, I am really enjoying this. There is something about Jandy Nelson's writing. I can't even really put my finger on what it is, but her writing is very... I connect to her writing. I feel like her writing is very, like, emotionally resonant. And I feel the emotions in her writing, and it's just chock full of different like quotes and things that I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying both of these two characters. I think she's done quite a good job in that both of the different time periods and the characters that we're following, I have swapped twice on which character I've preferred perspective. So at first I was really enjoying the chapters from Noah, and it's actually quite big chunks. I think we've only swapped perspectives like 3 or 4 times, like swapped between. And we started off in Noah's perspective when he was 13, and I was really enjoying that. So then when we swapped to Jude when they were 16, I was like, oh, I just wanted to keep reading from Noah. But then that really pulled me in, and I was really enjoying that. But then when we went back to Noah, I was like, no, I want to stay in Jude's perspective. But then Noah pulled me back in. So she does a really good job with the different perspectives and the different voices, and just unpacking all of, you know, the relationships and stuff going on in here. This book deals a lot with grief and just all kinds of themes kind of around, you know, those types of topics, and I'm really enjoying it. Looking forward to, so I've only got I've only got 150 pages left in this, but I don't think I'll get it done tonight, because when I come home from boxing, I still will have to have dinner and wash my hair, and I want to keep editing the previous vlog. I edited a bit of it last night, but I want to get the rest of that edited tonight as well, hopefully, and then hopefully can get a decent night's sleep to hopefully go back to work tomorrow. So that's my plan. So yeah. And honestly, I feel exhausted right now. Like, I could easily just lay here and go to sleep, despite the fact that I've spent most of today asleep. So I'm gonna go because what time is it? What time did I say it was? I don't even know. Yeah, I need to leave to pick my mum up for boxing in like 15 minutes. And yeah, hopefully boxing isn't awful with me being so exhausted. I think it'll be good. I think it will help energize me a little bit. That'll actually make me feel a little bit better. Because exercise can be good that way sometimes. You know, the endorphins and stuff can be a good thing. So yeah, that is all I really have for this clip, and I will talk to you guys when I get home from work, hopefully when I get home from work tomorrow. Bye guys. Hi guys. It is 5:32 p.m. on Friday, the 29th of March. Yes, for Friday. So I made it to work. I still felt like a pile of garbage. I went into work. I was really proud of myself for making it in, and when I went in, it was with the intention of just get as much as done as I could in the morning, get through all the urgent stuff, and then head home early. That led to me working straight through lunch in an attempt to try and leave early, and then still not managing to leave early, so ending up doing an extra hour of work on the day that I felt like total crap. So that sucks, but I kind of got a lot done, but then not really, but at least I made it through the day. So I'm home now, thank goodness. It's the weekend. Weekend plans. I don't really have too many plans. I've got coffee and such tomorrow. I'm getting my nails done tomorrow. I think I'm going with, I think we're going to, so there's the football, like I've mentioned, and there is also a women's league of professional football. It's only been going on for a couple of years, and it's actually, the team that I support in the normal, like men's football is the Crows, and the Crows have a women's team, and the Crows women's team is in the final on Sunday, and I believe it's free to go. So I think I'm going to that with like my mum and my sister and my niece to like support the women's team in the final. So hopefully that should be fun. Whenever it's in the litter box, if you can hear that. So that's on Sunday at like 12 o'clock, I think, or 12:30, something like that. But yeah, and then apart from my stuff like tomorrow morning, I don't really have any other plans, I don't think. At least not that I can recall. Hopefully get a lot done around the house. And I also, the main thing I plan to do this weekend is spend a lot of time planning out my videos and stuff for April. Because I need to get organized with that. It's kind of a frustrating month with the dates that the 31st falls on the Sunday, which means I can't film any of my like end of month stuff because the month doesn't end until in the week, but then I'll need to film it. Like, I need it to go up during that week, but I can't film it on the weekend like I normally would. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. And because next week is the last week of daylight savings time, not this weekend, but the following weekend daylight savings ends. Although, as you can probably see even from this lighting, it's only 5:30. The days are already getting much shorter. Today is the first day that it's really felt like autumn, which is exciting. I'm sad that daylight savings is ending, but I'm going to work in the pitch black at the moment. Like, it's still dark in the mornings when I leave for work. But today, yeah, it was really like cold, not like cold, but like chilly. The leaves are starting to turn, and yeah, it definitely felt like autumn. And like, we're kind of already a month into autumn here, but it really did feel like autumn today, which was exciting. Anyway, so on to a reading update. I've actually done quite a bit of reading since I spoke to you guys. So, I finished I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson last night. I ended up finishing this entire thing, which I was really happy with. So, I really enjoyed this. I didn't love it quite as much as her other book, The Sky is Everywhere, but I did still really, really love it. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. Really, really enjoyed it. It's just such beautiful writing. Like I mentioned yesterday, for me, this writing is just very emotionally resonant. The emotion just like bleeds off the page. I thought she did a great job with the two perspectives. This was published, when was this published? I think this was her second book, or was this her debut? I'm trying to look at it and hold the camera. So this was published in 2015. yeah, I don't think she's had a book come out since 2015, because this and The Skies Everywhere are her only 2 books. So it's been forever. Jandy, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, please publish something else. There's another book on her Goodreads, but like with no publication date. So hopefully we get something from her soon, because I really want to read another book from her, because I've really enjoyed both of her books. Yeah, this book just deals a lot with grief and sexuality and finding yourself. My memory card was full and it cut me off, and I have no idea where my train of thought was going. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm giving it 4.5 stars, like I mentioned. So 4.5 stars to that. I then, last night, when I couldn't sleep at one point, and so I picked up my next book. So I picked up Little Miss Stony Brook and Dawn by Anne M. Martin. This is book 15 in the series. I read a couple of chapters of this last night, and then I finished this just on my commute. Like I said, I didn't take a lunch break today, but I finished this. Oh my god, the cat is going mental. I finished this on my commute. So this one follows Dawn, and she has 2 of their babysitting charges entering the Little Miss Stony Brook pageant, and the other babysitters also have contestants entering the pageant, and it all gets a little bit competitive. That storyline I didn't really care about, but there's a B, like the subplot in this one is that Dawn's brother, so Dawn and her parents divorced. They were living in California, and her parents split up, and so her mother moved with Dawn and her younger brother to Connecticut, on the other side of the country, back to where her mother grew up. And so they're new to town, and Jeff, her brother, has been really struggling to fit in and find his place in Connecticut, and he's been wanting to move back to California, to move back with his dad for a while. And in this book, he does move back to California, and that is the plot that I enjoyed more in this one than the actual like main kind of storyline going on. Again, it's just like, I feel like I'm 30 years old and these are still hit notes that I think I take stuff away from. My brother literally just moved away like a month or 2 ago. And obviously it's in a different circumstances. He's an adult and has moved away for work. But yeah, so I really could take something away from this. And I did just think it had some nice commentary in there on divorced families, and the fact that Jeff doesn't fit in Connecticut and wants to move back to California to live with his dad doesn't mean that he loves his mom or Dawn any less. And yeah, I thought this had some nice things in there. So I'll probably give this a 3.25, because like I said, the main like pageant plot, not my fave, but I did really like the notes in there, like about the whole Jeff moving back to California thing. So finished that today. So I was actually meant to pick up another library book now, is what I'm like due to pick up with my normal reading, but luckily I just remembered today that the next NetGalley book that I'm due to pick up expires on the 31st of March. So I have to read it before the end of the, like, and I didn't, in my head, I knew that we were right at the end of the month, but for some reason still felt like we had ages to go. We don't. I need to start that ASAP, because I have to get that finished before the end of the month, which is on Sunday. And I'm actually kind of scared that with the time differences, although I'm technically in the future, normally for time differences, that it's gonna be taken away. So my main goal, I don't think I'm going around to my sister's tonight. I haven't heard from her. So my main goal really is to get as much read of my next NetGalley read as possible, to read as much of that as possible tonight and tomorrow, so that hopefully I can get it done before it expires, because if it expires and I don't get to finish it, I'll be peeved. So yeah, that is my plan. So I think that's it. Oh no, audiobook. I forgot to talk to you guys about my audiobook. I also finished the audiobook today for The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. I enjoyed it. I honestly did, but it's not a good book. I think that the book and the movie have different strengths and weaknesses. I think that the movie does some things better than the book, but then there's some things that I think work better in the book. It's very cheesy, and and I definitely think it's longer than it needs to be. There's a whole part at the end that I was just like, why is this book still happening? Like, why haven't we already, like, wrapped things up? It's also very over the top in the romance. Like, the female character is, well, she turns 17 right at the end of the book, and I think the male character is 18. And so it's like, and yet, you know, as is typical of, like, a lot of these cheesy teen romances, the romance is built up to be this, like, all-consuming, passionate love affair for the ages, and it's like, they're 17, like, and, you know, just a lot of the stuff and the dialogue and a lot of everything going on in there is very cheesy and over the top. But, and I also feel like the main male character, yes, he is he's supposed to be like this bad, brooding, bad boy type of character, which I'm obviously totally into, but it's he's villainized a lot. Like, there's characters who, you know, it's everyone saying to this girl, you shouldn't be with him because he's this awful person at, like, parts, and I'm like, really, what has he done that's so awful? Like, he's gotten into a couple of fights, but, like, okay, it's not like he's doing anything illegal, and every fight he's gotten into is, like, I mean, not for great reasons, but for a reason. He's not just, like, randomly going around hitting people, and he's not into, like, drugs or doing anything illegal or anything like that. I'm just like, really, in the grand scheme of things, like, what is the problem? So, yeah, it's just, like, a lot of drama for, like, not that much reason, in my opinion, but that's pretty typical of a lot of teen romance books, let's be honest. So I did genuinely enjoy it. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as the movie. I think I'm going to give it a 3.25 star. I gave the movie, I think, 3.5 stars. But yeah, I did enjoy it. It's, like, enjoyable, kind of trashy, guilty pleasure type of read. But yeah, so I did enjoy it for the most part, but I recognize that it's not great fiction. So yeah, that is it now for this clip. I will talk to you guys at some point tomorrow. I don't think I'll do a car check-in tomorrow because I don't actually need to go to the library tomorrow. And while I will be driving to the shops myself because I'll be getting my nails done, the car park there is, like, really busy and there's people all around. Like, I'm not going to film in my car there. So it'll probably just be a clip from at home. You know, I'll move things out to the lounge room to try keep things interesting. Because 90% of my clips are filmed right here on my bed. So yeah, that is it. I think we've got to appreciate these daylight clips when I get home from work while we can. So yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hi guys, it is 4:57 p.m. on Saturday the 30th of March. So because I didn't check in from the car, I decided to check in a little bit later today so I would have as much of a reading update as possible to give to you guys. Cat's tail, in theory, but Winifred is very snuggly at the moment. Hold on a second. She's trying to get into my lap. Here you go. So I mentioned, I think yesterday, that I needed to read, I got my nails done today. I've gone back to a neutral color. I actually really like how this came out, and I'm really happy with the shape of them this time as well. Anyway, so I mentioned yesterday that I needed to get that NetGalley book read. So I did end up going around to my sister's last night. Her phone had died, but she came round. Actually, not long after I finished that clip, she came around, and I ended up going around there a bit later. I finished uploading the vlog from before this, so I've now had vlogs go up, like, within 2 days of each other, and I've got this vlog will have to go up tomorrow as well. So I did that, and then I went round there, watched a couple of episodes of Angel, and then came home, got home late-ish, but I forced myself to start reading the NetGalley book, because, like I've mentioned, I'm on a time crunch to get that done. So have I even said what the book is? I don't think so. It's The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. So I'm reading it on my phone because so this is a book that most of the NetGalley books, when you get approved for them, you can just send to your Kindle, and then for me, once I've sent it to the Kindle, even once the archive date on NetGalley passes, I can still access them on my Kindle. Very occasionally, you'll get a book that you can't send to your Kindle. I don't know why. You can't tell what they are, like, before you request them on NetGalley, because if I could, I wouldn't even request them because it is super annoying for me. And so I can only read them through like an app on my phone called Adobe like Digital Editions. I can read them through that. But that means when they're archived on that, they're actually archived. Like I can't read them after that date, and this one is archived at the end of the month, so I need to get it done. So I did force myself to start it last night. I only read like the equivalent of probably like 30 or 40 pages, not very much. That's the other thing that I don't like about Adobe Digital Editions is I can't tell exactly how far of the way through I am. I'll see if you might not be able to see because of the glare. Let me see if I can get it a bit closer. No, I don't think you can see. Oh, there we go. Possible spoilers, I don't think so though, but you can see how big that font is. That's as small as I can get the font to go. And so it does have a page count down the bottom, but the page count doesn't marry up with any of the editions on Goodreads, and because the font is so big, technically the page number doesn't change. You'll flip through like 6 pages and then finally the page number will change because the font is so big. It's not really accurate to the page numbers. So I don't like that. So it's kind of hard to tell how far of the way through the book you are. So according to this down the bottom, so I read about however much last night. Then this morning, like I said, I went out for coffee and stuff with my parents, got my nails done, came home. I did my shopping after that, like my groceries, came home. What did I do once I got home? Not a lot. I snuggled with Winnie for most of today, had a nap for about 2 hours, and then I have been reading and watching some BookTube, like, apart from that. So, I don't have anything going on tonight. I haven't watched any movies in a while, and I really do want to watch, Winifred's getting into my lap and she's, like, doing the thing where she gets her claws out. I do want to watch some movies tonight, but at the same time, I haven't got as much read of this as I would like. I did check my library, and my library does have a copy. They don't have a physical copy, but they do have the ebook, but it's like a 3-week hold time on it, so I've put it on hold, which is annoying because I had to take one of my audiobooks off hold. I think the limit for hold should be like, you should get 2 different limits for like ebooks and audiobooks. Please ignore my hair. Like I said, I've been laying in bed most of today, so my hair looks awful. My shirt is also, I don't think you can tell on camera, but it is so covered in cat hair because this is a nice top and I really shouldn't have worn it while I was laying in bed because my bed's covered in cat hair. Anyway, so, yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. So, I haven't got anywhere near as much reading as I wanted to done. So I'm not as far through of the way as I would like, but I still want to watch movies. Oh, that's what I was saying, is that I checked my library. My library has the e-copy. I think they should have separate hold limits for ebooks and audiobooks, but they don't. So I've put it on hold just in case this ends up expiring before I can finish it. There's like a 3-week hold time on it though, which is super annoying because it means I'll probably be like, 2/3 of the way through and then not be able to finish it for like 3 weeks, which will be super frustrating. But I did do that just in case. But I am still hoping. It's hard with the time periods. I don't know when it's actually going to expire. So anyway, so according to the phone, like the thing on the bottom that I was mentioning before, I'm 85 pages of the way through out of 301. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's inaccurate because most of the copies of this on Goodreads have this book at over 400 pages. Sorry, I just keep catching the sight of how terrible my hair looks. Yeah, have the book at over 400 pages. So I would say that according to this, let's work out how far of the way through that puts me. 301. Do a quick calculation. So I'm 28% of the way through. So not even 1/3 of the way through, and ideally I would have liked to get this done today. So at this stage, I'm thinking, I came out here, I was in my bed, like I mentioned. I came out here to give you guys, not like you guys care, but so I could film a clip on the couch rather than in my bed like I always do, like I mentioned yesterday. So I'm thinking that I'm going to spend the next hour and a half-ish still doing some reading and BookTube watching, hopefully hit at least the 1/3 of the way through mark on that. I'm then probably going to order some Uber Eats for dinner, watch a movie or two, and then probably spend a couple of hours, like an hour or two before bed, doing some really like solid reading, like get as far of the way through that tonight as I can. And then tomorrow, I mentioned yesterday, I am going to the women's football game tomorrow. They're not playing until I think it's 12:30, but I don't know what the plan is. Like, I'm going with my mom and my sister and my niece and nephew, but I don't know what the plan is. Like, I don't know what time we're heading in, but the book's on my phone, which in that way is great, because if it hasn't expired tomorrow, which I don't think it will be, I can even read some of it on my phone when I'm at because every time I'm at the football, because we go, generally, it's a bit different because of this whole women's thing, it's not as popular as the men's, but like, it's normally a sellout for most of the games of the men's, and we get there when the gates open, because our seats aren't like assigned seats. You've got to basically get there early enough to save a seat, which is so annoying. And then normally we're there for like 2.5 hours before the game even starts. And every time I'm there, I'm like, oh, I wish I brought a book. But I try not to take very much with me, because it's a lot slower to get in if you've got like a backpack or a bag that needs to be checked, like by security, like when you're going into the stadium. So I try not to take too much with me. But in this circumstance, having the book on my phone is actually a good thing, because I will be able to just read it on my phone when I'm there. Although my mum, my sister, and the kids will be there, so I don't know realistically how much I will get read. So that is, yeah, so that's what I'm hoping, that maybe today I can make it. If I make it a third of the way through before I have dinner and watch movies, I think I should be able to make it 50% of the way through with like an hour or so of solid reading tonight. And that then hopefully, like I said, I don't know what time we're going into the football. Maybe I can get some decent reading done in the morning before we even go to football, and then I can maybe get a little bit read while I'm at football, and then hopefully have time when I get home from football to finish it tomorrow evening. That is my current plan. I would like for it not to expire, that I could just keep reading it and finish it like before I go to bed, and just have it fit very nicely into the month. Because if I finish it like in the mid-afternoon, I'll want to start a new book tomorrow. And like, I don't really have a problem with books going across the month, but when you're that close to the end of the month, I'll be like, and especially because I haven't really mentioned this yet, so kind of slight spoilers for some stuff going on in my channel in April, but I'm going to be participating in at least 1, possibly 2, possibly 3 readathons in April, and so my TBR is going to be a little bit more set, and I would like to keep things a little bit more like succinct to April if I can, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so anyway, this has just gone into a tangent of me trying to figure out in my own mind how my reading's going to go this month. So I guess I should talk to you guys about what this book actually is. I've told you how far the way through I am and the details about that, but not what the book actually is. So it's a thriller. It's about a group of friends who were like friends in university. They're now in their like early 30s. It's UK based, and they are going for over the New Year period to spend the holidays at this like Scottish estate where there's this kind of secluded hotel, and they're spending the New Year period over there. So the story starts on, I think it's the 2nd of January in the new year, and we know that one of the guests had gone missing, and that at this point they've just found the body, and it's a body, the person has died, and we get the sense that they think it's due to suspicious circumstances. And we then get kind of alternating time periods. We go back to, I think it's the 30th of December, and back to before, obviously, it all went down, kind of when they're arriving at this estate. The group of friends is arriving at this holiday place, and going to find out what happens. It's very like wintry. I know there's like a snowed in factor. The synopsis gave me vibes of An Unwanted Guest by Shari LaPena, which is a book that I loved. So far, it's nowhere near as good as that for me. We do get different perspectives. So we've basically got 4. We've had 4 perspectives. We've got 2 perspectives of 2 of the guests, and then we've got a perspective from the 2 guests are both female, and then we've got a perspective of the female person who works at the hotel, who kind of like manages and like runs things, and then of the male guy who works at the hotel, who's like the gamekeeper, because it is on this, I think they said it's like 50 acres, but it's like wooded area, and they have problem with poachers, and a lot of it's woods, and it's deep in winter, and yada 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 yada. So that's kind of the story that we're following. Like I said, nowhere near as good as I can't decide if I even really like it or not so far. We've kind of get these illusions that there's there's something mysterious in the backstory of a couple of the characters that we don't really know the details of. It's also one of those stories where in this group of friends, so I think there's 9 of them. No, so we're getting the perspective of 3 guests. So we actually got 5 perspectives. There's 3 female guests who we've had perspectives from. It's the 3 of the female guests. There are 4 female guests. No, 5 female guests. No, I don't know. There's an odd number because everyone's in a couple. Oh my God, that was totally heteronormative of me, and I hate that I just did that. It's 4 guests and 5 guys because one of the couples is male-male. There's a male-male couple, and then there's 3 female-male couples, and then there's a lone single female. And so we get the vibes in this friendship group that, you know, things are a little bit more strained in the friendship group, partly just due to life and circumstances. They're now in their early 30s. They don't have the time to have fostered the relationships in the way that they did, you know, when they're at uni together. And, you know, their lives are going into different areas. Some of them are married. One of the couples has a young baby who's also there on the trip. And then, you know, so it's just all that type of, like, friendship themes, which generally I love in books, but I'm just kind of waiting for us to actually really, like, dig down, like, get down into those details, because that is the stuff that I generally really like in my books, is when we dig down into those, like, friendship like, it doesn't have to be toxic, but just, like, those, like, the things that make up a friendship and the things we love and hate about our friends and how that can play into our relationships with them. So I'm just waiting for all of that to kind of take off. So, yeah, so like I said, what time is it now? Oh, it's actually later than I thought. What time did I say it was when I started? Have I been filming this for forever? I need to go because I feel like this clip is really, really long. But I'm going to probably do some booktube and reading now for about at least an hour, because it's later than I thought it was, and then, like I said, get some Uber Eats, watch a couple of movies, and then hopefully do some solid reading tonight. I'll probably check in with you guys tomorrow afternoon after I get home from the football. So yeah, wish me luck with getting this book read before it expires, or archives, whatever. So yeah, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye guys. Hi guys, it is 10:15 p.m. on Sunday the 31st of March. So I'm filming this clip right before I go to bed. Please ignore my open closet in the background, but I'm already in bed and I didn't want to have to get up to close it. So, today ended up being busier than I expected. Not busier. So I went to the football game, the women's AFL grand final today, which I knew I was going to, but I didn't expect it to take up as much of the day as it did. So I ended up getting picked up at 8:30 this morning to go to that. So I went at 8:30. So I got picked up at 8:30 and we went to breakfast first. Went to breakfast, then went in to the game. We actually had really great seats. We were sitting right on the boundary, which I've never done before, like right on the fence, like perimeter of the oval, which was really exciting. And although almost no play happened on the part where we were, but that's fine. It was fun to watch, and the Adelaide team won, which was really, really great. So I got picked up at 8:30. The game wasn't until 12:30. I didn't get home until about 3:30 in the afternoon, I think it was. And when I got home, I really wasn't feeling great when I got home. I had a later night last night than what I would have liked. And so I was tired, and then it was really weird weather today where at some points it was raining, not heavily raining, but it was like spitting, and it would be really overcast and quite chilly and spitting with rain, and then the next second it had completely cleared and the sun was beating down. And I think the combination of those points in time when the sun was really beating down, and me just not having got much sleep the night before. Anyway, by the time I got home, I had a really bad headache, and also all of the like yelling and cheering, and like the game was quite loud and all of that. So I had a really bad headache by the time I got home, and I was really tired. And I didn't get anywhere near as much reading in that book as I had wanted to yesterday. I only read till like 42% of the way through it, I think it was yesterday. And then I didn't read basically any of it while I was out today. So I did do some reading when I got home. I read like a chunk of it, and then I ended up going to sleep. I didn't have a really big sleep, but I slept for about 45 minutes to an hour. which was good. Like, that really helped. That revived me. And then I did some more reading, and then I had some dinner, and then I kind of just did some more reading, and then I finally got up and had a shower, washed my hair to prepare for the work week. And then basically I got ready for bed after I got out of the shower, and I got into bed and read the last 10% of the book. So I finished the book. So I didn't get anywhere near as much done today as what I was hoping to, because I just focus on, well, I have to, but I spent so much of today once I got home reading, because I had to get that book finished today because it was going to expire, but I did finish it, so I'm really happy with myself. So, and it means that all of my reads fell really nicely into the month, because I'm literally going to turn out my light after I finish filming this clip and go to sleep. So I'll just start new books tomorrow for April. I'll talk about this in some other videos, but I'm planning to change up the way that I film and do videos in April. So this might be the last type of clip like this that you see. Anyway, so onto the book that I finished. So obviously The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, I finished it. So there was nothing like wrong with the book, but I didn't love it. It was okay, it was enjoyable enough, but every twist in the book, or every kind of twist, I guess, I picked, I saw coming right from the beginning. I was like, I bet this character's like done this, and this is done this, and this is this, and I was right about all of it. So nothing overly shocking. And then having said that, though, I think some of the twists in it would be twists that people would find quite shocking, but not to me. I realized that sounds really pretentious. Like, I'm such an amazing twist guesser, but I do often guess the twists in books. So I know that sounds really like self-congratulatory, but for me it wasn't anything overly shocking in it. And like, I do love a good twist, but I don't have to find all the twists super surprising, because it's not a deal breaker for me, because I do so often guess it. There's also it's quite a large cast of characters. It took a while to get your head around who all of the characters were. There's quite a lot of perspectives, and whereas in a book very similar to this in premise, and I Want to Guess by Sherry LaPena, I thought that was handled really well. I don't think it was done as well in this book. At different times I had to remind myself whose chapter I was reading. So I just don't think it was as well handled as what it could have been. I wasn't super in love with the end part of the book. Also, none of the characters are likable, pretty much. Especially in the group of friends of the however many did I say there were? 9, or however many of them there are, or 11? No, 9. I don't know. They're all dickheads, basically. They've all got something about them you're just yeah, I didn't really like anyone for the most part. And you don't have to, I don't mind unlikable characters, but I feel like when you have, I guess there's maybe one that I liked, but it wasn't one of the main ones. I feel like with so many perspectives in there, we could have had at least one perspective maybe that was a character that you kind of could have got behind to try kind of root for, and that just never really happened. So anyway, it was just okay for me. Nothing amazing. Like I said, nothing overly shocking, but it was enjoyable enough. The writing was okay. So I'm going to give that a 3.5 star rating. That is it, I think, for this clip and for this vlog. I didn't end up planning out my TBRs the way that I wanted to. I did do some work last night on my spreadsheets and stuff, but I didn't finish it. I did do some. I did about half of it, but I've still got a lot to do on that. And now we're going into the working week, and I haven't filmed any videos for April because the ones that I need to film, like I said, my wrap up, I couldn't film yet because the month hadn't ended. So April is going to be a bit of a shit fight of a month for getting videos filmed, I think. But you guys don't care about that. That is the end of this vlog, which normally with all the other ones, I would have this posted tonight, but I didn't want to film this clip until I finished the book, and I said I wasn't feeling well, so anyway, I don't know what's going to happen. You guys will see this vlog soon, but right now, we're going to roll to the outro. Bye, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this final reading vlog for March. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below. If you have any thoughts on any of the books that I've been reading or how your March reading month finished off, I would love to chat. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye guys!